Hello and welcome back to my fragrance channel, or welcome if this is your first video. My name is Elizabeth Grace and this is A Room with Perfume. Today we're going to do a little bit of a new fragrance roundup. Not all of these are new releases. Some of them are new releases and some of them are just new to my collection. I've gotten quite a few new fragrances recently, a lot of them in PR, so we're going to talk about what I think of them, break down which ones I think are worth it and which ones have made it into my kind of core collection behind me. This is where I keep my very favorite fragrances. I like to keep them in easy reach and out on display if there's something that I know has made it into my core kind of loves. And a lot of my other fragrances that I keep for reference just don't make it onto these shelves. So if it's made it onto this shelf, it means that I have really fallen in love with it. So let's go. There's a lot of new fragrances to talk about, so here we go. Starting with what I think is one of the most exciting releases, because I absolutely love the House of Bo. It is a fragrance house that honestly makes some of my favorite fragrances. I consistently love more fragrances from them than many other houses, so I was very excited to smell this fragrance. And from looking at the note profile even before I smelled it, I was pretty sure that this was going to be the type of scent that would be up my alley. I feel like House of Bo does kind of dewy florals so beautifully. I love Lamar, I love Rosario. Both of those are kind of these delicate, translucent, petally florals, and it sounded like this one, even before smelling it, was going to have a bit of that element. There's a gardenia note and a jasmine note, but there's also this other component. There's a leather note in here and a Merlot, a Merlot wine accord. So I didn't really know exactly what to expect, other than I was very excited. But this is really so beautiful. I'm starting with one of my favorites here. I think if you love Lamar, you should absolutely give Ave Maria a sample, because they're not the same thing, but I do think that they share this kind of beautiful, slightly aquatic floral feel. But then this one has this really interesting, kind of more complex, slightly deeper dry down. So in the top you get that dewy gardenia, the jasmine, and it's kind of got a slightly aquatic feel. It makes me think of flower petals floating on the surface of water. But then you do get some sweetness. There's a pear note, and I'm really picky with pear perfumes. It's not a note that I tend to love for some reason, but in this it is done so beautifully. Not synthetic at all. It's just got this kind of juicy sweetness. There's a cashmere woods note in here as well. So I think as it starts to dry down, you get almost the textural feel, how some flower petals have this velvety feel to them. I feel like that is what the Merlot wine note, the leather note, and the cashmere woods kind of bring to the dry down. This is not a heavy fragrance or a intensely dark fragrance. It still kind of has a light fruity floral vibe, but I just think that the dry down has some layers and some interest from those deeper notes. This is beautiful. I absolutely love this, and like I said, I think if you enjoy Lamar from House of Bo, odds are that you would really enjoy this one. And I just think that this bottle, they did this opalescent cap. It is so pretty. Acqua di Parma very kindly sent over several of their fragrances, and this is a line that I have always loved. I always tend to gravitate towards, especially in the summer, crisp, citrusy, light fragrances. It's hard for me not to love those kinds of scents, so I have always gravitated towards this brand because I feel like they do those light, crisp, refreshing, summery fragrances so beautifully. So let's go through them. We have 4 of their fragrances, and the first is actually one that I have been sharing with my husband. I love the way this smells on him. I think that they just released maybe a revised version of Colonia, but I think that Colonia, the original, has been out for some time. And this is a gorgeous, very unisex, soapy, citrusy, aromatic, lightly woody scent. It's kind of got that classic, just clean. I really do get the most luxurious kind of woody, citrusy soap That is what this fragrance smells like to me. It has a soapy feel in the best way possible. So it smells so classy, so clean, and I have been really enjoying smelling this on my husband. I think it's perfectly unisex. I think anyone could wear this, but in particular, I have been really, really enjoying this on him. Next, and actually the next three from Acqua di Parma have all made it onto my shelves of favorites behind me, and Colonia would have as well if it wasn't currently in my husband's collection, but this one is Mandarino di Sicilia. I hope I'm saying that right. I feel like I'm not, but regardless, this is a juicy, ultra natural smelling mandarin blood orange scent with a crisp mint note, like freshly crushed mint that you would put in a beverage. And this just smells like summer in a bottle. This is exactly what I would want to wear on like vacation in Italy. That is exactly the vibe, and it is so natural and realistic smelling. Nothing synthetic about this, and the mint note is perfect, perfect, perfect. I love that combination, and it just smells like something that you want to drink. Next we have Fico di Amalfi, and this is a gorgeous fig scent that really kind of feels like you're getting the whole tree. It has a little bit of greenness and stemminess, a bit of woodiness, a bit of that like kind of milky fig quality. Very, very natural. And I think as compared, if I was going to compare this to Philosopus, which is one of my other favorite fig scents, I would say that this one is less milky and has more of like a bit of woodiness, a bit of green stemminess, kind of a more the entire fig tree vibe from this fragrance than Philosopus. This is absolutely beautiful, and I cannot wait to wear this as the weather warms up a little bit. Lastly, from Acqua di Parma, we have Osmanthus, and if you know me, you know that Osmanthus is one of my favorite notes in perfume. This is a beautiful, beautiful kind of Osmanthus soliflor. If you're not familiar with Osmanthus, it is a floral note that oftentimes has a very apricot-like feel. This is that exactly. It's that beautiful apricot-y, osmanthus, floral, fruity kind of feel. Oh, it is beautiful. This is spring in a bottle to me. It's so happy, light, fresh, a little bit sweet, but still very bright. I absolutely love this. Initio's Musk Therapy has been on my wish list for so long. This was a fragrance that I smelled probably 2 years ago and absolutely fell in love with it, and I honestly don't know why I hadn't gotten it before now, but this is one of the most beautiful, clean, like citrusy musks, yet it also has this like creamy quality, almost texturally like a body cream, like that creamy, silky, smooth feel that a body cream has. That is what I get from this. It is clean, a little bit shampoo-like. The citrus in here is beautiful, and then it's just this gorgeous, clean, fluffy white musk. I love this so much. I think you could wear this anytime and everyone would just think that you smelled incredible. It also has fantastic, fantastic longevity and really good projection. So, so beautiful. If you love a clean, fresh fragrance, but you want something that is still very interesting and will get compliments, will be able to smell you, this is perfect. So, so beautiful. I cannot imagine anyone smelling this and not just loving it. I'm sure that there's somebody out there, but to me this is so likable, so wearable, and such a beautiful elevated take on a fresh, clean musk. And I love the addition of citrus because I think it keeps it feeling very bright. This is available on Twisted Lily. I have a discount code down in my description box below. You can order samples of this fragrance, and if you haven't tried it, obviously I know it's been around for a little bit, but definitely one worth sampling. Next we have the Atelier de Fleurs line from Chloe. This is kind of their like privé line, and this is a trio that is focused around like nighttime flowers. I believe that they are all flowers maybe that bloom at night or like open at night. I don't actually know that for sure. Double check me on that. But I don't think that this collection is brand new. I think it was at least released in 2024, but still pretty new. And I'll start with my favorite of the bunch. Nuit d'Oranger is a orange blossom that has a little bit more kind of depth and amberiness than maybe your typical orange blossom scent. This is absolutely beautiful. I love this take on an orange blossom fragrance. It feels like just a little bit amped up, a little bit more suited as like a date night fragrance, but it's still very floral, feminine, it's sweet, it's a bit powdery, and then as it dries down, you get this kind of warm ambery quality, but it's not heavy at all. I would still say this is a very like feminine, very floral fragrance, but I just think that some of the base notes kind of amp it up a little bit. Also has fantastic projection and longevity. This has amazing performance, so I think it is perfect as a date night scent because it's still very floral and delicate and feminine, but it does have that warmth. I think there's patchouli as well, but I don't get a strong patchouli note. I'm not the biggest fan of patchouli, but I don't get a strong presence of that. I more so get this just warm amberiness as it dries down on skin. This kind of bit of powderiness as well. Absolutely love this one. It is my favorite from the trio. And this is the one that made it onto my shelf full of my absolute favorites. Tubéreuse Lazuli, and again, not 100% confident I'm saying that correctly, but this is a really lovely tuberose scent. There's oud and sandalwood in the base. I think jasmine and osmanthus, maybe some pink pepper in here if I remember correctly from looking at the notes. And I do really like this, but tuberose is a difficult note for me, and it has to be just the perfect tuberose. I think that this is objectively so beautiful, but it is not my personal favorite take on a tuberose scent. I am very partial to Narcotic V from Nasamato if I'm gonna go for a tuberose scent. So while I do really like this one, it wasn't a strong love for me, but it is a really nice floral with kind of an edgier facet from and that's the theme through the whole line, is kind of pulling out some of the, I think, darker, deeper elements of these three florals. Orchidée de Minuit. This is kind of a boozy, darker vanilla floral, and this has a fantasy orchid note. This has benzoin. It's got a rum note, so it's got this kind of boozy, darker quality. Vanilla, patchouli, musk, and this one is really so beautiful. The only reason that this did not make it onto my kind of shelf of favorites is that so often rum notes, any other like boozy note in fragrance, has a facet on my skin that pulls almost slightly menthol, if that makes sense. And I got that for the first maybe 30 minutes of this fragrance, and then I absolutely loved the dry down. So I really did enjoy this. I think it's a beautiful take on that kind of like boozy, warm floral that feels kind of a little bit edgy and perfect for nighttime. I think this one's lovely. I think this is more just my skin chemistry because I did love the dry down after I got past that element, and it's something I've noticed in a lot of fragrances with a similar scent profile. I don't know what it is, but anyway, this one is still really beautiful, again, worth sampling, but did not make it onto my wall of my absolute favorites. Next, we have the launch from Cyklar. This is their line of 8 perfume oils, and I was so impressed with this launch. It's $24 per oil, which I feel like is on par with a lot of the body mists that have been released by a lot of brands recently, but this feels so much more luxurious to me for a very similar price point. So I love that. The scents felt very well thought out. I thought the packaging was beautiful and just felt really elevated. I have 4 favorites, so let's talk about those. Cedar Supreme is one of my favorites. This is a beautifully wearable, kind of soft, aromatic cedar scent. This feels really elevated. It's not too intensely woody, too like in your face cedar. It's very wearable. Absolutely love this. It feels very chic. There's a little bit of citrus in here, so it's bright but woody, it's aromatic. Absolutely love this, and I think it just smells more expensive than it is. Also, I think this would layer beautifully with so many things. Their musk fragrance is gorgeous. I'm not gonna say the full name, but I think the name might lend an idea that it's this like deeper, darker, maybe dirtier musk, and it's not. This is like a perfectly clean, fluffy, powdery, white, cloud-like musk. It is beautiful. It's a little bit floral. There's jasmine and rose in here as well. I love this. If you love a white musk, this is almost has an element to me that's a little bit reminiscent of like the Body Shop's white musk, but elevated with more floral components, although I still love the Body Shop's white musk in all honesty. And this is just kind of that classic floral white musk, a little bit powdery, clean. I've been obsessed with this. I have been wearing it just constantly. I love putting a little bit of this in my hair, and if you love a white musk, this is a great price point. 10 out of 10. Sacred Santal, if you've tried any of the Cyklár body washes, I know that their Sacred Santal is, I think, one of the most popular ones. And this is a warm, creamy, ambery, sweet sandalwood. There's nothing sharp, harsh pencil shavings-y about this sandalwood. This is very warm and wearable, very enveloping, cozy, a little bit spiced. I love this. It's a little bit sweet as well. And as someone who only tends to like kind of a creamier, warmer, sweeter, softer sandalwood, this is perfect for me. Then Bergamot Bond is a lovely, bright, juicy, zesty citrus. It's sweet, not too sweet, but it is sweet. Super wearable, and this layers beautifully with both the cedar scent as well as the sandalwood. I love that combination. Very bright, very refreshing. This would also layer beautifully under any citrus fragrance to help with longevity. I would say that the projection for all of these is intimate, but the longevity is quite good. This is a sample that I ordered, but I have a full bottle on the way, so I wanted to go ahead and talk about it. I ordered 4 samples from Bienaime, and this is a perfume house that I believe was launched in like the 30s and has been recently kind of revived, and they brought back some of, I would imagine in tweaked formulas, but they brought back some of the original scents, and they've kept this beautifully art deco vibe to their packaging, their branding, and it was just calling my name. I felt like I needed one of these fragrances. So I ordered samples of the 4 that looked to be kind of feminine leaning. Honestly, they were all so beautiful, but in particular, I really fell in love with one of them. This is La Vie en Fleurs, and this is a powdery raspberry floral, right up my alley. This has notes of raspberry, mandarin, violet, peony, and rose, iris, white musk, heliotrope, and amber. Essentially, this has like 80% of my favorite notes. This is incredible. This is a powdery fragrance, but you get that brightness and sweetness from the raspberry. I love the violet in this. Sometimes that kind of candied violet, I can either love it or really not enjoy it. And in this, that like powdery, sweet purple floral is done absolutely to perfection. You get the rose and the peony and this just like fluffy, fruity, floral, powdery bouquet. It is beautiful. If you tend to love fragrances like Roja's Elixir, I feel like you would enjoy this one. I have heard that this is reminiscent of French Kiss by Guerlain, which I have actually not smelled, but I have wanted to smell so badly, and I think it's discontinued maybe, but I've heard that it reminds people of that fragrance. So anyway, this is beautiful. The bottles, if you haven't seen them, are just the most beautiful things ever, and my bottle's on the way, so I'm very excited. Next, I have the newest scent from Henry Rose. This is called Dave, and I sprayed it on a test strip just because I wanted to kind of revisit this. I have only sampled this on skin a couple of times, and it is really nice. This is a vanilla with a little bit of an aromatic quality. I believe that there's a lavender note in here. There's a chantilly cream note, I think some tonka, and an almond blossom note. This is a very pretty, light, wearable vanilla, but I just don't know that I think it's that special. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this fragrance. It is very nice, and I think if you wanted a vanilla that was lighter, cleaner, fresher, this would be a really nice option. I'm just not obsessed with it. Next, J-Scent On a Cloud. Okay, if you enjoy mint ice cream or buttermints, like the creamy little after dinner mints, in particular, my favorite ice cream is Ginny's Savannah Buttermint ice cream, and it is a creamy mint with white chocolate chip like flakes. That is what this smells like. Pretty much to a T. This is a creamy sweet vanilla peppermint. It is very pepperminty, so you have to be on board with a very pepperminty fragrance, but I think that this is such a happy, comforting, fun, almost nostalgic perfume. Absolutely love this, and I could honestly see this as either like a summer's day perfume because, you know, mint chip ice cream, but also I could see this around Christmas because I like this sweet peppermint kind of vibe as well. So I kind of go either way. I love this. This to me is more of a fragrance that I would reach for at home. Like, it's not necessarily something that I would put on going out, especially like in the evening, but as just like a cozy daytime perfume. I love this. I think it is just a very, very happy fragrance. And if you gravitate towards those types of like profiles, flavor profiles in food, I would definitely give this a sample. This is on Lucky Scent. You can order a sample. And I think that this one is just like such a charming fragrance. That's pretty much it. I think that that is the majority of the fragrances that I have gotten recently. Let me know down in the comments what videos you would like to see, and I will see you in the next video.